If you listen to the headlines, you might think that the Disney parks are making more than ever. However, a new report out of Forbes has run the numbers, and they're saying that Disney parks are now making less money than they have for years. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. We don't usually talk about the financial side on this channel much anymore. We like to stay on the theme park side. But Disney did something that they have not done for quite some time. The Walt Disney Company declares a cash dividend that has 3 digits in it. 2 of those digits are behind the decimal place. But look at that right there. The Walt Disney Company declares cash dividend of $1 per share. The Walt Disney Company Board of Directors today declared a dividend of $1. This represents a 33% increase over the 75 cents per share paid to shareholders during fiscal year 2024. The dividend will be paid in 2 installments of 50 cents per share, according to the following record and payable dates. This is great news for anyone we know that might be listening that is a fan of ALF and happens to have shares. But this is something that went away during 2020 or so and is now back. It was back at a very low rate, and after the Nelson Peltz proxy fight, they did bring back the dividend. It was a teeny tiny dividend, and then when they raised it by a teeny tiny amount more, they listed that by, we raised it by this percentage, which when you're playing around with percentages, okay, great. That's one way to try to that's one way to try to impress on people that it's larger than it actually is. But they're now at $1. You guys have any guesses at why they might be increasing their dividend now?
Yeah, this was something I was pondering because obviously the stock has been trending in the right direction for a little while now. Actually, ever since November 5th. I wonder what happened on November 5th. Something small, probably.
Yeah, there
affected
was
the
a
stock.
big change in the stock prices of everyone after November the 5th overnight, or is it November the 6th overnight? But a couple of things have been going on. First of all, the Disney company says that they want to reward shareholders for the great year that they've been having, but it might be in response to this report here out of Forbes and Miss Caroline Reed. Disney's theme park division reports lowest profit in 2 years. Caroline Reed is an excellent reporter for multiple websites, but we like to follow her Forbes byline here more than anything else. Earlier this month, Disney announced sparkling results for its latest quarter, buoyed by the box office success of Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine. However, buried right at the very bottom of the list of key points on its earnings report was the revelation that a dark cloud is hanging over its theme park division, and not the one because of their villain show going in at Hollywood Studios. Disney's theme parks, cruise lines, and consumer products are grouped under its experiences segment, and over 3 months to September 28th of 2024, it generated $1.7 billion of operating income on its $8.2 billion of revenue. Its operating income was down 5.7% on the same period the previous year and was also the division's lowest quarterly result of the past 2 years. Sometimes I say different words that mean the same thing. So the theme park division not doing as hot as it has in the past. There was some signaling that this might happen. Culture, you've followed the earnings calls. This is something that Hugh Johnston and Bob Iger seem to indicate would happen, right?
Yeah, actually, I think Hugh plus the guy from the Morgan Group, the guy that's leading the succession committee. I think they both kind of alluded to at some point in time. If I look, am I surprised by this? No, I think Disney needed to get back to a point where retail investors would feel comfortable diving back in. They need to. Disney needs to preserve itself in the position it is in the markets and how it's and how those are calculated. And so one of the ways you can do that, which is to show investors that that it's worth investing, that they'll get a yield. And I think that's really why this happened. I obviously they can take a gamble here that it will pay off in the long run, but I have a feeling that the Disney stock is going to take a hit at some point. Um, I just can't predict when. It depends on a lot of decisions, and it also depends on what happens down the road with, believe it or not, Epic Universe.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. They have
Yeah.
said on the earnings calls that they think they'll have a boost when Epic Universe starts up. They're comparing that to previous parks that have opened up in that area over the last 25 years.
You see, what I find interesting about this story right here is it kind of details everything that we were talking about for so long. And man, I mean, if you really add up all the coverage, it really kind of culminates in this article, which Caroline Reed does an absolutely beautiful job in doing right here. There's two things I want to go ahead and bring up, and I'm going to go ahead and take it right back to you, Jonas. One is that she actually brings up the fact that there was a staggering 32% drop in operating income, that's profit, from Disney's international parks in the fourth quarter compared to the previous year. That is absolutely huge because we know that Disney has really invested in that segment to a huge degree, and to have so much volatility in that space is really alarming, that you can invest as much as the Disney company has had and yet still have those huge swings right there. Also, too, Eddie Sato, famous Imagineer, worked with the company a long time, actually said this in response to this article. It said, they, being Disney, have been in cash cow mode and need a product reset. I think they have hit price resistance and need to address delivering value both creatively and experientially. So a lot of people taking note right here and speaking openly about the fact that Disney has really lost its value ever since really 2020. Even though it was mounting before then, it really went out of control in 2020, as this article beautifully points out, while the company was trying to capitalize on the increased demand for their parks product.
That's very true. There's also, of course, when he talks about that cash cow thing, the first thing that comes to mind is items like Lightning Lane, which has been, or Genie Plus, or whatever you want to call it. They'll change the name if we start to hate it enough here. That being added in, I think that it's going to help them on revenue. Apparently, it's been selling out. We don't know at what level it's been selling out because we don't know how many of them they've been selling. Of course, we just did a story talking about how MultiPass has maxed out, as far as it's the highest level it's been sold at ever. So that doesn't seem to be going away. And if we've prescribed on this channel that needs to go away in order to fix Lightning Lane at the parks. But this is something where they're trying very hard to get those per caps. That is the per capita spending. That means how much each person on average spends while they're in the park here at Disney, which would indicate that if they want people to spend more money, they need to be offering a premium product. They have everything they need in order to charge a premium price and stay at that value point. But instead, we're seeing all kinds of problems. This is a company that wants to have their cake and eat it too. They want to lower maintenance costs. They want to raise prices. They want to be viewed as a premium product, and they want shareholders to not notice the actual product. They want their shareholders to not be invested in the future or the brand of the company. They just want their shareholders to invest. So this kind of thing to me is very frustrating as a Disney fan and as a person who follows business, because Disney is a company that needs to invest in itself in order to stay in that premium area of the market. They can do lower experiences if they want. If they did a little regional park, which I'm not endorsing the idea that they should do a regional park, but if they want to do lower cost items, they can do those at Disney Springs. They could do a Disney Quest, although famously Disney Quest failed for them. I don't know why. It might have just been that Bob Iger wanted to put an NBA experience there. This is a company that needs to do premium things if they're going to try to charge premium prices.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree. And that's probably why they are debuting a system like Premier Pass, right? Where it's like, oh, well, this is a premium offering, premium product, and so forth. And this is really going to add tremendous value to our customers or guests who can actually afford it. But you're right, Jonas. They do need to add premium offerings to this so-called premium product. What they've been doing now, though, is that they've been reducing the amount of premium experiences that they offer, at least with your initial ticket price. If they have maintained them, it's usually under paywalls and restrictions and so forth, or they just get rid of them entirely while charging more. We've seen a lack of entertainment options for a while now. They've been reducing the amount of entertainment offerings. Actually, Fantasmic at Disneyland, for example, only plays on the weekends. That didn't used to be the case, especially around this time. But there is a higher premium price for those weekend days right now. And so we're just going to go ahead and push all the entertainment in that direction. So if you really want the true experience at Disneyland, for example, well, you have to go on the weekends and pay those tier 5, tier 6 prices. It's quite an alarming trend, and people, I think, are really picking up on it, which is why Hugh Johnston, when he came out on the last earnings call, not this previous one, but the Q3, he was talking about how, we're going to have mid-digit declines. I think one of those things is people are figuring this whole game out. Also, too, Epic Universe is right around the corner. Why necessarily invest in a vacation at Walt Disney World or Universal Studios with that new attraction coming online in 2025?
Yeah, and I really don't know for the life of me what a mid-digit decline mean. Does that mean a fraction of a digit? Does that mean middle of a 10 culture? You got any help for me on that one?
No.
I believe they're talking about like what 5, 6, 7%, which this is going to be really interesting too. If you think about the international segment losing 32%, it was the whole quarter was buoyed, at least within the experiences segment, by the domestic revenue that actually came in. But think about the offerings that they activated in order to achieve that number. So if the international segment continues to be a drag like it has been, well, then you need to earn even more at your domestic segment and maybe even your other divisions to make up for those losses. Go ahead, Culture.
Well, I mean, I've been thinking about it because, Jonas makes me do that. And I like
dangerous pastime.
It is. Look, Disney has been struggling. The media sector they represent on the Dow is family entertainment and primarily, right? They have 5 business segments or so. And you look that over and you think about where their primary revenue comes from. It's their theme parks. There's nothing new on the horizon. You have to give investors confidence that what you offer now is going to be substantial enough that you're going to be able to compete with what's coming online down the street and their plans to expand simultaneously. As you asked Vash a few moments ago, the last 15 or 25 years, or however long they want to stretch back, how many parks have come online? Well, they brought parks online in that stretch of time, or at least park on, so when you look at it in those terms, Disney really isn't about expansion anymore, which is proved by the fact that they're just redeveloping attractions or destroying attractions outright. If you have one attraction in place of 3 or 4 attractions, right, it's much cheaper on personnel, maintenance, et cetera, supposedly.
Right. And we pointed out that these are essentially the sign to try to point you at the gift shop.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.